Alright guys, well I'm making up all my shelving for all the closets, linen closet, pantry, all that jazz. Got everything kind of pre-painted. They'll be cut up to length and installed, and then the ends touched up. Well, this is an example on how I'm doing the closet shelving. There'll be, of course, a clothes rod across here. Just very super simple. Need to finish spotting the nail holes and touch up the ends. Well, alright, we've made a little more progress. I've got the cove all painted up and installed under here to doll that up a little bit. Ran it all the way around. I've also got all the base shoe installed on the toe kicks down there. I did have to cut more of the flooring away where they did not respect the expansion gap. I think there's only one more spot that I need to correct from their work, but I'm getting ready to install the dishwasher now. I've just got it mocked in there and fastened in and all leveled up. So now I'll start pulling it out to make the connections. Alright, well I'm getting ready to install this thing. I went ahead and put my connector on here to make it easier rather than trying to do that underneath. So I'll just take the nut off, pull it through the hole and tighten it up and then make my wire connections. Since I rebuilt this carcass, I need to pierce a hole down here for the water supply to run through as well as the drain to come back in. So that's where I'm going to start. Alright, well I have it laying on its back. I've removed the electrical cover here. I've installed the drain hose and installed the clamp for it, as well as the water supply line. They do not come with this elbow here. You have to source these out depending on the type of line you're going to use. This one happens to be a compression style braided. So now I'm at the stage where I'll stand it up and I'll start sliding it back in the hole while pushing those lines up in there, a little here, a little there, until I get it where it needs to be, and then I'll make those two connections last after hooking up the electrical. It's just easier to do it this way than trying to get everything hooked up underneath. Alright, well the electrical connections have been made. Very simple. Ground to the chassis, white to white, black to black, wiring out everything together. This is ready to close up. Okay, well I'm finished with the installation of the dishwasher. I've got the supply line coming in here to the hot side, and then I've got my drain hooked up to the disposal. You definitely, if you're changing the disposal and have a dishwasher, you need to make sure that you beat out this plug that's in the end of that, or if you hook it up, the dishwasher will not drain. Likewise, if you're installing a dishwasher where there wasn't one before and there is a disposal, you as well need to knock this plug out. Now you can put an air gap in here, a device that you can buy, or you can make a high loop with this drain line. Now this loop runs up as far as I can take it up to the bottom of the counter and then goes down to the pump. And the reason for that is you do not want this coming straight down like this and going to the dishwasher pump, because when you use the disposal, run water through here, whatnot, that water can travel down and stay in the pump until it's used next and pump back out. That's the reason for this high loop right here. So that water will never get down here. Alright, well the next thing I'm going to do is run it through a cycle just to make sure everything functions properly. I have no leaks, it drains, and everything looks good. I'm sure it will, but it's a good test to run. Well, alright guys, I moaned long enough. It's time to take care of this threshold that popped loose on 4 of the doorways. I pulled the rug back. I did have to remove the tack strip so I could get the threshold back out. Just a little bit of information on removing these things. I am going to be able to reuse them, but if you are taking them up out of concrete for some reason, don't just come in with a pry bar and get under the nail and pop it straight up, because you will blow out big craters out of the concrete. The best way to do it would be to come in with maybe a small tool like this, and you just need to get underneath it to get in contact with the nail and just tap it. You don't even have to tap it hard. Just tap it a few times and it'll pop right out and leave a very small crater. So going back together, when I reuse this, I'll get it positioned where I want it. I'll drill straight down through it with a masonry bit into the slab. I'll drive in a hardwood dowel, and then I'll follow it with a roofing nail, and that will secure it back down. One of my viewers had mentioned, you know who you are, You'd mentioned that maybe that there was dust on the concrete, and I do agree there. I dusted it off, but I didn't necessarily wipe it down. But what I also found was a lot of overspray, and it looked like when it busted loose from the concrete, it took the overspray with it. So I think I was having two issues. A little bit of this overspray is mine, but most of it is from the original build of the house. So to clean this area up, I invested in a compact needle scaler from Harbor Freight, and it only took me a couple of minutes to get it to the point you're seeing it right now. So now I've got a good clean surface. It's been tacked off. I'll tack it one more time, and then I'll secure these back. Then I'll put on the tack strip, bring the carpet in, kick it over, cut it, and then tuck it in, and these will be finished. I don't like having to do things twice. Actually, I can't stand it, but it happens. It's a valuable lesson to me, and it won't happen again.